It's Tuesday, July 23rd, 2019. Digital Trends Live is about to start. Here are some of the topics we're covering. Rumors are popping up that Apple is in negotiations with Intel to purchase their modem business, furthering Apple's goal of bringing all iPhone production in-house. And the trend for major car manufacturers to invest heavily in electric vehicles is being showcased even more so by Ford releasing a video of an F-150 pulling a train. And Frankie Zappato, the man with the flyboard who is showing up everywhere recently, announces plans to fly across the English Channel. The Green Goblin is amazing. And from our New York studio, we'll be joined by Whoop CEO and founder Will Ahmed, who will talk about their groundbreaking wearable devices with our own Corey Gaskin. All that and more on today's Digital Trends Live. You know, yesterday it was nice and blue skies. It looked amazing out there. Now, Juan, you are getting the actual Portland.
Yeah, I think I was misled.
Yes, 364 days a year, that's what it looked like. Yesterday was the only time it didn't.
Okay.
That was it. But regardless, we want to be honest here. Hello, everyone. This is Digital Trends Live. This is our daily show here from Digital Trends, where we bring you the trending tech topics of the day, news, headlines, interviews, discussions, and so much more, all while broadcasting live across a number of different platforms. And thank you for joining us. We're on LinkedIn Live, Periscope, Twitter, Twitch. We're on YouTube. We're on Facebook. We're on Dailymotion. We're on Apple News. We're on 2 different mobile apps. We're on a smart TV app. And we're at digitaltrends.com/live. And all of those are places where you can engage with us. So drop in your comments, your questions as we go through the show. It is always a lot of fun. Hello to Rick on Facebook. Hi, Rick. All right. And to start off, though, I'm Greg Nibbler, joined by Juan Garcia. Hello, Juan.
Buenos dias, Greg.
Thank you very much. How are you doing today?
I am doing great.
Excellent. It is nice to have Juan here. Juan is the editor-in-chief of DT Español and so much more, and clearly a superstar.
So much more.
So much more. You've got your fans that are joining us. It's always great to see your fans when they pop in here. I'm sure.
Hi, Mom.
Juan has a tremendous group of people that will join us, and we thank you for that. And so let's talk about some news.
Okay.
Juan is never lacking in opinions, so let's get into those. So let's talk about this. So here is some of the news that's coming out today. It has to do with Apple and their iPhone business, and we know that they've kind of made a lot of headway towards this, where they eventually want to bring all of their manufacturing in-house. That's the overall goal they'd like. Well, now there's reportedly discussions that they're in talks with Intel to purchase Intel's modem business. Intel recently kind of just called it quits on making 5G chips. They were having trouble with it. Qualcomm and Apple worked out a deal where Apple's going to be buying Qualcomm chips for a while. However, we don't know if that precludes Apple from just going in and getting into with Intel with this. So this is where we're at. $1 billion possibly buying Intel's modem business, bringing that in-house. Juan, what do you think of this?
Let's start with saying one thing. Apple can buy any company in the world that they like. Okay,
True.
They can buy Digital Trends if they like. They can buy, a piece of Intel business. That's okay. They have a lot of money.
They do.
Okay, so they can do whatever they want. Why are they buying Intel when Intel is unable to produce 5G modems? It's a mystery. I guess it's to damage Qualcomm.
Do you think so?
That's the thing. You go to the rivals. Right?
Really? So even though the Qualcomm and Apple have settled, their differences after all those years.
I think they're frenemies. They're frenemies.
Okay.
Yes. They pretend to like each other, but in reality, I don't think they like each other.
So you think Intel or Apple purchasing this? Well, there's a couple of things with what you just said, because Intel, like you said, they weren't able to produce these 5G chips. They pretty much publicly said, okay, we're going to get out of that business.
That doesn't mean that they can, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that computer that you're using has an Intel chip.
Oh, yeah. As far as their computing chips, they're fine.
Most of computers, including Apple, have Intel inside. So they by the way, Intel is a local company here in Portland.
True.
They're able to produce.
But with the mobile side, they weren't apparently able to do it. They weren't able to get up to speed fast enough, at least compared to their competition. And so if they were to sell this, part of it, I know that what Apple would be purchasing, if this is true, is a lot of these patents that Intel has. They also have a lot of staff associated with that. You would think that they'd probably come over as well, I would guess. You would bring those people that have been involved in that section of the company because they're not going to be working there really.
First and foremost, I mean, let's see if this is actually true and if it happens.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, the next iPhone, I don't know if it's going to be 5G. It's probably going to be, a version of a 5G. It's going to come out in, let's see, it's 2 months, less than 2 months. You know, the beginning of September.
Yep, that's when the new one should be.
We'll have a new iPhone. So that probably going to have a 5G summer model like.
You think they will?
You know, the Galaxy did. They did. This phone, and then the 5G phone.
You think the iPhone though is going to have one? Because I know there were rumors that Apple may just skip this generation and do it next year, but maybe.
I think the race to 5G it's on.
That they have to have one in there.
Yes, I think they will present one in some shape or form. Probably not going to be the best. I do own a 5G phone, by the way.
Yeah. You have the Samsung?
I do have an LG.
An LG?
But I've never been able to test it because.
Yeah, you could only do it.
Well, that's another story with Sprint and the 5G network in Dallas, Texas. That is unexistent, but I mean it's coming. It's gonna happen. It's already out there. You know, Verizon has 5G. Sprint claims they have 5G. You know,
T-Mobile's going to be having that. Yeah, AT&T has theirs.
So why wait? Although Apple has been known for not getting into these trends. You know,
right, they wait until everybody kind of makes all their mistakes, and then they come in with a better device.
We can say that with the dual cameras iPhone.
Yeah.
We can say that with wireless charging.
Right.
We can say that with a number of things. You know.
Well, looking at this from the consumer standpoint, and I know that you are an iPhone fan. I mean, you like their devices.
I don't know why you say that.
Yeah, okay, just to clarify that. Completely unbiased opinion.
I don't know.
So with that, what kind of effect do you think this would have going forward? If they were to bring this in-house, will this help make iPhones cheaper down the line? Would this help? Yeah, I know that's.
I think we have a very. If you go to the Slack channel in editorial, we have a very lengthy discussion yesterday
about
all the editors and everybody jump in and everything. And there's no way iPhones are going to be cheaper.
Yeah.
Okay. If anything.
So put that out of your mind.
There's going to be expense here. You know, a 5G iPhone. You know.
Yeah.
Take a guess.
A 5G iPhone?
1,500.
At least, yeah.
1,500.
I'd even go maybe 18.
Because you know we need to get to the barrier of the 2,000 apparently. Because
that's where we're headed.
1,000 is not enough.
Yeah.
So yeah, that chip has sale. You know, it's not going to be cheaper iPhones.
Well, we'll see what this does, how this works out, because there is, you know, Apple does buy a lot of companies. If they were to buy this section of Intel, they're not buying Intel, by the way. They're buying the old modem section of Intel, just to make sure that's clear. Well, they do have a lot of money. But if they were to do that, you know, how that's going to affect iPhone production down the line, bringing all of that knowledge in-house, but not quite up to Qualcomm's level, but maybe once they're in-house with Apple and with Apple's developers, you combine that with the knowledge base of everybody and those patents that they would get, maybe that takes them up to another level, and this, you know, speeds up their 5G.
I would like to add finally that I know the people at Qualcomm and the people who have developed the 5G, and really it's remarkable.
Oh yeah,
what they've been doing. I mean, I don't see. I mean, they already have a product. I don't see why would you go to another company that was unable and see if you can make a product so you can have your own thing,
yeah.
You know?
Well, unless that's the goal, is they think that they could eventually get there to where they could have their own. You know, I mean, I don't know. That's a lot of the business dealing side of it, and like you said, the frenemy side of it. Maybe I don't know. That comes down to company policies. I know companies in general probably would want to keep it in-house because
let's
you
not
make
forget
more money.
There was a lawsuit involved.
Oh, a huge
Qualcomm and
lawsuit.
Apple. So
yeah. But that was settled, and now it's for several years. I can't remember the number of years where Apple's agreed to buy Qualcomm's chips, and now, you know, everything's publicly they're all worked out. But
do you know how that started? Right, the lawsuit. This was an email when Apple is talking to Intel, and CC is Qualcomm, and asking for secrets.
Is that really what it is? There was a CC'd email? No way. That's how all that started. Okay,
and Qualcomm say, "Hey, wait a minute, you know, why are you giving up my secrets?" You know?
Always check your CCs or reply alls before you send those emails. Okay, I didn't know. I'm going to be looking into that afterwards, so Okay, that's fascinating. All right, but that's what we know right now. So Apple supposedly in talks. This is the biggest trending story today right now when it comes to tech. Everybody's talking about it. What does it mean? How's it going to shake out? Is it actually going to happen? You know, there's a lot to sift through right there, but that's where we're at right now. And I think there's enough media that's going on about it, enough information coming out that I do believe there's something going on, but you never know if it's actually going to go through. So we'll see what happens. But that's the rumors that Apple may be purchasing Intel's modem business for up to $1 billion. We'll keep you up to date on what that means for you. And let's continue on with Digital Trends Live into our next section. And
this is my favorite part of the show.
Read 'em and Weep, where we take a look at some of the comments that you leave across our many different platforms, and we read them back to you, and we give you our opinions, or we weep about them one way or another. Something's emotions will be running rampant through here. It could be, you know, there's tearjerkers, there's laughs, there's cries, there's all kinds of things. James, regarding space tourism is coming and it could wreak havoc on the atmosphere. The reality is the elite can go see the world from up high. Perhaps it will change their perspective on things and bring change. Worrying about a 1% ozone depletion is nothing, considering it recovers faster than that. Okay. And this is a great article. It's at Digital Trends. We had Georgina on, the author of that, I believe yesterday. I get all my days mixed up here, but I believe it was yesterday that we had her on talking about this. And I think that's still something to be concerned with. Yeah, maybe not right away, but further down the line, I think it's important to take a look at what the actual environmental impact is of space tourism. I'm a fan of space tourism myself. I think it's great.
I'm going to make a comment that is going to make me look very, very, very old, which I am. But I remember in 1980, I was in class, and it was when the first space shuttle was going to be launched. You know, we're talking about a lot of the Apollo 11. I think it was yesterday, the anniversary, or Saturday.
Yes, Saturday.
And I remember my teacher back then telling me, one day you can go do space tourism. I'm talking about, let me do the math, 38 years ago, 39 years ago. And it hasn't happened, right? I mean, it's
not quite.
Not quite. You know, the Challenger was supposed to be, because, you know, it had the shape of a plane, so to speak.
Yeah.
That was supposed to be to do some space exploration where anybody can buy a ticket, you know, and go. And that hasn't happened. So, again, let's wait until it happens, and then we'll see. But definitely it will be for the few.
Yeah.
For the 2%, like my friend Bernie Sanders will say, right?
So, yeah, that's who's going to be going up there. I mean, somehow I could see you finagling your way into a ticket on this.
Like a press trip, yeah.
Yeah. I can see you working that out.
Report. No, but I would not like to go, actually. No.
You wouldn't go?
No.
Okay, you can use your powers for me then.
No.
That's I'll go in one step.
We'll send Juliana or something, you know.
All right. Juliana, if you don't want to do it, please put me third in line. All right. But anyway, that's what we're talking about. So, James, I see what you're bringing up there. I think it's good to talk about this overall, but you can take a look at that article at Digital Trends. All right, AM. Regarding how 5G will change your smartphone and your life in 2019, 5G's short reach is a serious drawback.
Yeah, absolutely.
Unless we can figure out a way to engineer out of this problem, using 5G for self-driving car grids is only a pipe dream. Juan.
Absolutely true. That person, I don't know.
AM.
AM. Hi, AM. It's right. Yeah, it's short reach.
Yeah.
And it's Verizon likes to make a lot of commercials, and there's always people standing in the same spot, either in Chicago and Minneapolis, where they can get amazing speeds, but like in one little
right. As long as you're
away from it. In Minneapolis, it's outside of the stadium, and in Chicago, it's in some. They can give you like the exact pinpoint that you need to be standing.
Yeah, I think you got a point on this.
I mean, it's true. It's. We're not saying it's going to happen this year, probably, where it's going to be everywhere and self-driving cars and everything. But it's going to happen. You know? I think that the Sprint technology is different, actually. It's not that short. But so far, you know, I haven't seen it. It hasn't worked, you know.
Well, I think that AM's got a point there. We do need some more infrastructure before all that's going to happen. So this is AM on YouTube. And thank you for commenting on YouTube. Wherever you're finding us, I'll say hi to Rika, who said hello on YouTube also. So there we go. AM, thank you. Mark, regarding watching this machine that makes bubble wrap is oddly satisfying. Built a robot that connects to this robot and pops the bubbles just as fast as they are made. Then make a video about it and we can talk. Pop, pop. Okay.
That is one of the most satisfying things you can do.
Really? The
Yes,
popping the bubbles?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I don't know why. I don't know.
Uh-huh. But this works for you.
It's, yeah.
Juan, do you know what ASMR videos are?
What? No.
Okay. I was just wondering if you know. I think you might be a fan of ASMR videos. I think
Okay.
it might work for you. I think that would be something that would go along with those lines. So we'll make some. Juan, maybe he can make some bubble popping videos.
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely. I can be all day doing that.
All right, Dustin, regarding TCL S405 4K TV unboxing video fail. I came here to know where the power cable is. Shake my head.
I guess he buy a TV and it came without a power cable.
Apparently, that's what happened. I'm not sure.
Well,
Dustin's
that's-
upset. We've clearly failed, as he said.
That is an accessory that you have to purchase separately, obviously. No, we're kidding. No, I mean, I'm sure you can talk to the manufacturer or send the TV back
Yeah.
or talk to Best Buy or wherever you buy it and said, just give me a power cable.
And then
we'll be good.
We'll solve that. See?
Because sometimes, it could be happen that he went home, installed the TV in one of those stands, and
and then just didn't have a power cable?
Power
No, that
cable.
would.
Is
that
that,
would
oh,
be
okay, I have
terrible.
to uninstall everything and put it in the box. And
Well, we failed, Dustin, and so we'll just have to acknowledge that right there. Sorry, Dustin. I mean, we said there could be tears during this video. This could be it. All right, we have one more here for Read 'em and Weep. Aiton, regarding the Zip Stitch is a surgical grade laceration kit that doesn't use stitches, but doesn't work on snitches. Okay, yeah, there we go. That's the winner right there.
Okay.
Closing it out, solid. I mean, there's nothing else I can comment on that.
that's good.
Other
That's
than,
good.
yes.
We'll take it.
Aiton, you win. All right, thank you, everyone. That's Read 'em and Weep. That is our section here where we take a look at the comments, wherever they come from, and we answer some of them directly back to you. Because that's what we do on this show.
It will work on snitches if they can.
Oh, that's true.
close the-
Oh, that's a good idea. Yep. So yes, the answer is yes. Juan has figured it out. It does work on snitches. All right, let's continue on here. We've got a couple of stories to get through, and I know we've got our guest who's going to be joining us here shortly. So let's power through some of these. So we've got another trending story that has to do with the further proliferation of Amazon key delivery services, in particular in vehicles. Now we know Amazon is trying to. Taking a look at some of these comments that are coming through. We know that Amazon is trying to figure out any way to get packages to you, no matter how they do.
I didn't get to read that comment.
Yeah, that comment is great. That's George. So Amazon is now teaming up with Honda, in particular, to get some of Honda's cars to where they can have this delivery service. So if you don't know what this is, it's basically if you order something, you have a Prime, you have to have a Prime account. You order something, a delivery driver can take this to your actual vehicle, wherever it's parked, via GPS. They can open up your vehicle, open up your trunk, place the vehicle in there, close it, and notify you of this entire process. How do you feel?
I think I was in IFA a couple of years ago, and I was on a Mercedes-Benz conference, if I remember correctly, and they presented this service in Europe. Sometimes things go to Europe before
True.
they do here.
So they were already doing this kind of delivery service over there?
No, they were announcing it. I don't know if they probably are now. It was,
Okay.
it was a couple of years ago. Where basically think the driver, just park next to your car, gets out, the trunk pop like we're seeing here, and put a package in your trunk, close the trunk,
Yeah.
and that's it. That's a lot of people stealing packages from homes happening
This is true.
lately, and you don't want that to happen. Obviously, I mean, if you purchase a
But do you
TCL TV without a power cable,
That's-
we don't want that. to
That's
be
true, but do
stolen
you want that TCL TV being delivered to your car?
without a power cable?
Without the power cable, but I mean, just in your car in general.
Well, that's,
I feel like that's just as vulnerable to getting stolen.
If you, yeah. But but sometimes you order smaller things.
Yeah, that's true.
That they can put in your car, and I think it's a great idea. I think
So you're okay with this?
everybody should do it. Yeah.
Okay. There's something weird to me about somebody getting into my car. Well, I guess I don't care that much, but it's the idea
You get into
of,
the trunk. Okay.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
also a service that they can get into your house, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's even.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Getting into the house too. I don't know. That's something that Honda's working on right now. So Honda teaming up. So just one of the other manufacturers. There's a lot of them that are working with this, but we're seeing this more and more and more.
I think it's a good idea.
Yeah.
Especially people that work, that they're not home for the most of the day. You know, it's.
Well, I want to know what people think who are watching. Like, what do you think about this? Are you comfortable with that? With somebody getting into your car and delivering the package? That's one of the stories. That's
I think the question is, will you buy a Honda because of this service?
I don't know about that. It's rolling out to some of the Hondas. It's not rolling out to all of them yet. There's actually a list that they posted.
Probably the new ones.
The newer ones.
It's always the new models because it's a marketing tool. They want you to buy a new car.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, that's one thing that's rolling out. So we're seeing more of these Amazon delivery services and Amazon's goal to bring you a package wherever you are, anytime. That's one story that's up at Digital Trends right now. We have another one this is just actually coming out and trending. This is a video that was just released today from Ford. And we talk a lot about electric vehicles. You know, there's a lot of cars, but we also want to see this push towards electric trucks, electric utility vehicles, something that you can actually, you know, for that side of the market. And you have companies like Rivian, who are an electric vehicle manufacturer. They're supposedly going to have their truck that's going to be coming out, but Ford not only invested in them, but they're investing in their own. And they've been talking about it for a while that they want to get an F-150 that is fully electric. And they released this video showcasing one of their F-150 cars pulling a 10 double-decker rail cars over 1,000 feet. So it's over, let's see, the entire load's 1.25 million pounds is what this video demonstrates. It pulling this car, and it is an electric vehicle.
I have a lot to say about this. First of all, you know, I hate when cars company, they make commercials doing something that you're never going to be doing in real life.
You're not going to be
Why are you going to be pulling a train? Honestly.
10 double-decker rail cars?
Give me a scenario where you are, oh, you know what? Let me use my truck to pull this train. You know, I think that's a good idea. You know, the train is broken in the middle. No, come on, you know. Come on. Second point I want to make is Ford is really in trouble, okay? The only thing they have left is the F-150. That's it.
Really?
That's the whole
That's
thing.
a bold statement.
The company is actually divided in two. The F-150, which is the best-selling truck in America, the best-selling cars overall in America. There are more F-150s than Camrys in the streets.
Okay.
Okay, so it's a very successful vehicle. And when was the last time you heard something, okay, I'm going to buy a Ford sedan, you know?
So,
no, they're ugly, they're bad, they're not good.
Unfiltered one opinions
so
coming through here.
They want to make an electric truck to pull trains, apparently.
Yes.
I think it's good, but I believe it again when I see it because, let's see here. Batteries weigh a lot. And you're going to need a lot of batteries for making an electric truck.
True.
I mean, it has not been done before for a reason, right? I mean, we have electric sedans, electric SUVs, if you can.
Yeah, but the technology's gotten a lot better. I mean, the infrastructure's gotten better. You would think they would be able to pack more power into a battery.
The batteries, and it's, look at the Okay.
I want to do that now. So they're saying that, that they'll produce over a dozen electrified models by 2022. That includes a Mustang-inspired crossover and then the F-150, so an electric F-150.
Enough with the crossovers, please. Have you seen the Bentley crossover, the Lamborghini crossover?
I have not.
They're going to make up with a Cadillac crossover. And now a Mustang crossover? It's
a lot.
Desperation.
It is.
It is what it is.
Well, there it is.
Desperation. I don't even like the Porsche crossover. What is that? Why do you want a Porsche that looks like a station wagon? Really?
I don't know. Well, that's the video that came out. The Ford electric F-150 showcase.
It's a good idea. Don't get me wrong. I'm all about electric cars, but
well, that's Juan's professional opinion. All right, well, let's get to one last story. We have one more thing here to get to, and I know that we're running out of time. This has to do with Uber and the Uber and Lyft and rideshare battles that are going on and different ways that the companies are trying to figure out to get ahead of one another. This is Uber's new proposal. It's supposedly what they're working on. They have something called Uber Ride already, where you get discounted rides for $25 a month. Now, for that same price, allegedly, they're going to be adding in rides. You can get a free scooter rental. You can get Uber Eats, free deliveries, all kinds of stuff, all for that $25 a month.
Free scooters like unlimited or just
I don't
take
know.
one ride
One
here
ride a
and
month
there?
or something. I don't know. Yeah.
Okay, this subscription, everybody's going to subscription. I was
Yeah.
talking the other day, I mean, this iPhone was purchased in one of those monthly plans that you pay and you get a new one every now and then.
Yeah.
When you going to get out of that? You know, they
Yeah.
got you for life.
Yeah.
Is that what it is? It's a great idea for Uber. I like it, you know, but make sure you understand that once you're in it, it's like the mob, you know, there's no way
You're
out.
not getting out of it?
No, you're not getting out of that. I mean, that's it. They want your money for life. And
Well,
they
everybody
probably
wants
like
your
a
money, though.
gym subscription, you know, where they make it very hard to cancel.
Yeah.
You remember that Friends episode that you have
Oh,
to
yeah.
go talk to someone?
No, that's true. LA
You
Fitness.
know,
I'm still dealing with
you
that.
can probably sign up online.
Yeah.
It's going to be very easy to take the money out of your credit card. But once you're going to cancel, you know.
Well, we'll see where it goes. I mean, that's something that they're trying to do. I mean, I like the idea that you get more for your money if you're spending into it, but you'd have to use it probably quite a bit to make it actually worthwhile. Let us know what you think. I know we're out of time. I know we need to get to a break, but that is just covering some of what's trending right there that we'd like to do at the top of the show. We have lots of news at digitaltrends.com for you to follow up on, and lots more coming up on Digital Trends Live. But first, thank you to Juan.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you to your fans. Thanks, Juan, for joining us. It's always awesome having Juan here, and I bet you may see him again in the next couple of weeks. So let's do this. We need to go to a break. We have lots of coverage here coming up at Digital Trends. We're going to be heading to our New York studio at one point, but we're going to take a break now, and then we're going to come back. We have Rahim Fazal, who is the co-founder and CEO of SV Academy, talking about different online education platforms and the way that, you know, with technology changing, the way that we educate ourselves needs to change, and the way that we educate children needs to change as well. So we're going to talk about that, talk about his platform, and we've got all kinds of stuff broadcasting live. Drop in your comments, your questions, whatever you want to bring up. Back in a minute with more Digital Trends Live. This is Digital Trends Live. Thanks for joining us. So drop in your comments, whatever you want to bring up. We're on a number of different platforms. We will read them, sometimes even respond to them. So make sure you drop those in there, whatever you want to bring up. It's always fun having these discussions with you every day, and I do appreciate that. And I'm Greg Nibbler, and one of the discussions we're going to have right now is just the way that technology is changing everything that we do, the way we work, the way we interact with each other, and it needs to change for the way that education works as well. And we're going to talk to somebody right now who is doing exactly that. We have Rahim Fazal, who's the co-founder and CEO of SV Academy. Hello.
How are you, Greg?
Doing great. Thanks for being here with us today. I want to bring everybody up to date so we can have this discussion about just education in general, and particularly what you're doing. Could we get a little bit of your background and what led you to want to found this company?
Yeah, so I have a very crazy, non-traditional background where I grew up in government housing. I'm sort of first generation. I've been fired from McDonald's. I don't have an undergraduate degree, and I somehow snuck myself into this country. Was fortunate to start a couple of companies, some that did well, some that didn't go so well. The ones that did go well, created just a whole new sort of set of opportunities for me and my family that now at this point in my career, I look back and say, we how can I help to create more equal access for people who may have been growing up in similar circumstances and are probably being overlooked by the elitism and the recruiting systems today.
Which is an absolute issue. I mean, there's study after study showcasing that. And I don't know if you want to share any of those statistics when it comes to that, but just talking about that side of things, why there's an issue.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, I think what we're trying to do is at the intersection between the future of education and the future of work, and really to think through how to solve for it. It's a big systems problem. You have to start, or at least we have started with the perspective of the employer. Employers, they typically, and you all watching today, if you think about where you're hiring, often you're hiring people that you already know that are coming from your network, probably gone to a school that you recognize. And the reality is that the majority of job seekers, and we believe some of the strongest sort of future leaders in your organization have probably not gone to an Ivy League school, have probably not played golf with your father or father's friends or whatever over the weekends. They're probably people that have most likely they've been overlooked by systems and overlooked by the institutions, but at the same time probably have a tremendous amount of grit, a tremendous amount of resiliency, and are just looking. They're like salivating for an opportunity to show you how good they can possibly be.
I mean, and that pipeline, kind of what you were talking about, that institutionalized pipeline where it seems like that's what a lot of people go to. And breaking that and changing that is a tremendous challenge. And I want to talk about what you're doing. What steps are you taking to try to change that up? Try to change that up from the employer side. You mentioned that's where you're going from first. So
yeah.
What is SV Academy doing on that end?
Yeah, so first of all, what we've been able to do in the last several years, over hundreds and hundreds of job seekers that we have helped transition into jobs, 60% women, 40% African American, Latinx, 70% first generation college graduates, some who don't even have any degree, basically have given them everything that they need, from sort of the work experience and the mentoring and the coaching and employer connectivity, interview support, and support, in terms of upskilling for the first 12 months after their job, in a model that's entirely funded by the employer. So there's no cost to the job seeker whatsoever. What we've seen over that period of time is about a 2.2x income expansion of those job seekers who are traditionally coming out of more sort of retail sales and service positions and are now working in technology with an actual career path where they can make six figures in the next several years, 2 or 3 years.
Wow, that's tremendous. So if someone is out there, let's walk through the process, I guess, of how that works for an employee, so how that works for one of these people that you're mentioning. It's out there looking for a job, maybe doesn't have the traditional route.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
What are their steps to do if someone's?
Well, I think it starts with awareness. When we talk about these types of career paths, we often think about coding. The reality is, for most job seekers out there, coding is not an option. So we support a set of opportunities, career path opportunities that are more human-centered, opportunities that are customer-facing. So we've started, for example, with sales. And within sales, the first thing that we do is help folks sort of get educated and build some awareness around, yes, these jobs can be hard to do, but the reality about where they can take you in your career is tremendous. So the first thing is just building this awareness that you don't need to be a coder to build a six-figure plus career in the tech industry. That's the first thing. And you see, we do a lot of talks, we'll do a lot of interviews like this, a lot of content marketing. You can find us on our social media sites where we're engaging in these types of discussions. The second thing is you go through an admissions process. And unlike applying for an employer that's never heard of you, where you might send hundreds of resumes out and you get this form email back, I'm sorry, your qualifications don't quite meet what we're looking for today, but we take the time to evaluate every single submission that we get, not based on necessarily the traditional signals, but really on signals that we think are more indicative of future performance. So For example, we're really trying to understand your level of commitment around the outcome. Do you really want to work in the tech industry and work these crazy hours and under this amount of stress and pressure? And are you willing to commit your time and your energy and actually go through a tremendous amount of training in order to get access to that? And then the third piece before you get your job is really going through an internship-like experience where you're getting all of the sort of on-the-job training that employer would expect from someone who's done the job before in a short, accelerated period of time. It's part-time, so you can fit it in around what you do. You could be working, you could be finishing school, doing both. The whole idea is to make the program flexible enough where we can give these opportunities to the people who really badly need it, irrespective of what their constraints might be on a day-to-day basis.
That is great. I mean, it sounds like, at each step of the way too, you get somebody who can think, okay, is this something you really want to do? Here's what it really involves. This is it. Make sure that you're willing to commit to this, and we're going to give you the tools to help you get to that point.
Yeah, that's it.
That's amazing. And for people who want to take advantage, what's the website to go? I just want to make sure to reiterate for anybody out there who's watching right now is like, okay, that's me. How do they get involved?
Absolutely. So sv.academy is the website. There is a very easy application link right off the homepage. We started with just 3 students 2 years ago every month, and then went to 15 students every month. We're now opening up seats, close to 100 seats, and in a few months surpassing 100 seats every month. So there's a tremendous amount of opportunity. The better that our fellows, our job seekers do in the program, the more excited the employers become about hiring folks who might look different than the traditional pipeline they get access to. So the availability of these opportunities will only increase as we go forward, and look forward to reviewing applications.
Well, Raheem, thanks so much for joining us here on Digital Trends Live to share your story.
Absolutely.
I mean, really incredible where you've come from, like you said, getting fired from McDonald's to now you're running, the SV Academy. That's pretty great. And so an inspiration, I'm sure, for a lot of people. And thanks for being here with us on Digital Trends Live.
Absolutely. This is important. Thank you so much for having me.
All right, so that is Raheem Fazal right there talking about his experience and what he's done with his career. So many fun things we get to talk about here on Digital Trends. Always great to learn something more and learn about opportunities for people that are out there. I know we need to get to a break. We have Rick Marshall who's going to be joining us. We're going to be talking about Comic-Con, wrapping up some of what happened. There's so much that happened. We'll give you kind of a brief summation of some of the different things, some of the biggest things that happened at Comic-Con. And then after that, we're going to be heading to our New York studio. And we've got lots of coverage here. Stick around. Back in a minute with more Digital Trends Live. Welcome back to Digital Trends Live. Thank you for joining us. Comic-Con was last weekend. It was the 50th Comic-Con, in case you didn't know that, which is crazy. And every year we find out more and more about entertainment from that, and it's kind of one of the biggest unveilings for going forward for a lot of franchises, including Marvel and some other ones. We want to talk about those right now. I'm Greg Nibbler, joined by Rick Marshall. Hello, Rick.
Hey, how's it going? Great to be here again.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. There's so much to get to, so much to talk to. And let's start off with this, from your perspective, because you cover all of this. Let's kind of walk down some of the biggest things that were revealed at Comic-Con.
Well, by far the biggest thing, and this is pretty much usual, whenever Marvel is at San Diego Comic-Con, whatever they announce is going to be the biggest thing, and usually the biggest top 2 or 3 things, to be honest. And this time was no exception. they announced Mahershala Ali, the two-time Oscar winner, will be playing Blade, the title character in a reboot of that film franchise about the vampire hunter from Marvel Studios. So he'll be integrated into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. That was probably the biggest announcement they had.
That is huge. I think, I mean, that's Blade is one of those franchises I know a lot of people have been wanting to have rebooted. Some people still wanted Wesley Snipes to play Blade and come back for it. I think it's good to change that up a little bit. I mean, and Mahershala Ali can do no wrong basically right now.
Yeah, and I think, Marvel has earned that sort of benefit of the doubt whenever it comes to any casting or creative decisions. I mean, they just make the right decisions. And right. I suspect we might get some sort of wink and a nod to Wesley Snipes in there somewhere. Marvel's really good about that, too. And beyond that, I think the other big announcements also came from Marvel. They were sort of they're generating the most buzz. They announced that Natalie Portman would be coming back for Thor: Love and Thunder, which is going to be the fourth solo film, if you can really call them solo films these days, for Thor. And that's something that no other Marvel character, MCU character has done so far, is have a fourth solo film. They've all been 3 and out and then into the Avengers. So this is kind of a big deal.
Yeah, it seems like, Chris Hemsworth has made it clear he's not done with the character Thor. I think with Taika Waititi, kind of with rebooting with Thor Ragnarok, I mean, that was just such a great movie. And I'm so excited of where this one could go.
Especially because they've announced that, and I don't know how this is going to pan out, but they've made some special announcement that Natalie Portman will become the new Thor, the mighty Thor. Her character, Jane Foster, hasn't been around since, Thor: The Dark World there, the second one. And in Marvel's comics history, this actually kind of, tracks with some of the things they've done in the comics where they've had a female Thor come in and take over that mantle for a while, take over the hammer, and we're going to see how that goes. And Tessa Thompson will also be back for it. She plays Valkyrie, and she's going to have a really big role in it. She's also one of the first, LGBTQ characters that's very prominent in Marvel in the MCU. So there's a big deal being made about all of this, where it's really, I don't think, a solo movie anymore. It's going to be a big supporting cast film.
Yeah, it seems like all of them are like that. I mean, you may have the name on there, but it's every other character. You also have Doctor Strange announcing the new one with him. What is it? Into the Multiverse of Madness.
I love the title of this. It sounds so sort of like pulp filmy, like the Multiverse of Madness. And I think that's really cool because it takes what we thought might be debuting in Spider-Man: Far From Home. There was all this buzz about it introducing the multiverse, universe of different dimensions that are like alternate Earths and alternate heroes and alternate characters, alternate versions of everyone we know. But it seems like maybe it's going, a few movies later, and it's going to happen in Doctor Strange, where he kind of goes into that multiverse and explores other elements of what Marvel can offer.
Which would be an opportunity too if they ever wanted to bring back cameos for other past superheroes. That Absolutely. Might be a perfect opportunity to do that, or even showcase maybe going further on out, because they did say that the Fantastic Four is on the horizon, that there's some plan for the X-Men. I would think that'd be a great opportunity to just kind of tease that would be in that movie.
Yeah. They're playing it very coy with Fantastic Four and X-Men, which they got through the Fox acquisition there, and they haven't really said anything. They've just said, "Yep, we have plans for them. We think we're going to do something a little bit different with the X-Men and Fantastic Four." They've said, "Well, we just want to live up to the legacy of these characters." But that's really all they're saying at this point. And Marvel's really good at keeping everything secret until they absolutely want to start leaking stuff out. So we'll hear about it when they're ready to tell us about it.
Well, there's a lot to unravel with Marvel. I know we have time for just a couple of more things, so you can catch up on all of that at digitaltrends.com. The CW is doing something pretty interesting when we talk about multiverse, and I didn't know about this until I read what you were going to talk about today, and that's fascinating. So they're bringing back all these old superheroes, all these actors.
Yes. So the CW has always done a great job of these little, event miniseries where they do crossovers between all of their different shows. Supergirl, Arrow, Legends of Tomorrow. They've got Flash. They do crossovers. They're really pretty well regarded, no matter how you feel about the shows in general. But they're doing a massive one coming up that's going to basically be one of the most famous DC Comics story arcs ever, the Crisis on Infinite Earths, which sort of took all of the DC characters from different time period, generations, everything, and sort of integrated them together in a massive sort of battle against this cosmic entity. They're doing that on TV, and they're bringing back Linda Carter as Wonder Woman, for part of it. They're going to bring back both Tom Welling and Brandon Routh as different versions of Superman, which is wild because Tom Welling always made it very certain that he never wanted to put on the cape and tights when he was doing Smallville. They'll also bring back Burt Ward as Robin, which from the old Adam West Batman, which is kind of a shocker. I have no idea how they're going to integrate them, but I think it's going to be fascinating to watch.
Yeah, I'm really fascinated to see how that all goes down. And then the last thing I know that we wanted to bring up here, and I just because we're out of time, there's so much to catch up on. Picard. I mean, who's not excited about Picard?
Looks great. Again, bringing back classic characters. Going to be bringing back a bunch of characters from Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, all the old shows. And the trailer for it was one of the coolest trailers to come out of Comic-Con. Now, I'm actually surprised by that. I was excited about the show to begin with, and this trailer just amped that all up. Data, as you can see. All of these characters are going to be coming back, sort of cameo supporting role sort of things, and including Riker is going to be back for it as well. And just the final moments of that trailer are just, if you don't get excited about that, you may not have a soul. I don't know.
Agreed. And that's also what's probably going to finally get me to subscribe to CBS All Access. Well, Rick, I want to say thank you for joining us. Thanks for keeping us up to date. And all of Rick's articles and everything that he's written is up there at digitaltrends.com associated with this, so that way you can catch up on it. He's the guy to go to. Rick, thanks.
Thank you. As always, it was great to geek out with you.
I know. It's fun. We can do this longer. All right. Continuing on here with Digital Trends Live. I know I need to get to a break because we're going to be heading to our New York studio after this break, where we're going to be joined by Will Ahmed, the CEO and founder of Whoop, to talk about their amazing wearable. And we have the Digital Trends Live debut of Corey Gaskin, our new associate mobile editor. So his debut, interviewing Will Ahmed, all that's going to be after this break. Back here in a minute with more Digital Trends Live. Welcome back to Digital Trends Live. I'm Greg Nibbler. Thanks for joining us wherever you find us. It's always fun. We broadcast live on a number of different platforms. That way we can take your comments and questions as we go through the show. And I'm here in Portland, Oregon, but this is not our only studio. We have our New York studio where we're going to be heading to now. Standing by, we have Will Ahmed, who is the CEO and founder of Whoop. We're going to talk about their amazing wearables. But first, we have the Digital Trends Live debut of our associate mobile editor. It's Corey Gaskin. Hello, Corey. Handing it off to you.
Hey, how's it going? Thanks, Greg. Here we are in New York, a little bit of a rainy day, but we're persevering. There's been some flooding, but here we are with Will Ahmed, CEO and founder of Whoop. Will, thanks for having me.
Thanks for having me, Corey.
Yeah. So why don't you tell us a little bit about Whoop?
Well, our mission at Whoop is really to unlock human performance. So we believe every individual has an inner potential that you can tap into if you can better understand their body and their behaviors. And we've built technology now across hardware and software and analytics really designed to coach you on how to improve performance. So you can see here we've got the hardware. That's the Generation 3.0 sensor. It's measuring your body 24/7. 50 to 100 times per second across 5 different sensors, and it's really providing feedback on improving you. So we're measuring things like strain, the stress of your overall day, and what kind of exertion you're putting on your body. We're measuring recovery, so how your body is recovering from all that strain and whether you should put on more or less. Right. And then we're measuring a lot around sleep. So it's designed to be a 24/7 holistic system to understand the body.
Absolutely. And it's a good-looking device. Can you tell us a little bit about the evolution from the Whoop 1.0 to the Band 3.0 now?
I think a lot of our evolution has been to make the product as accurate and as easy to use as possible. You know, we have an iPhone and Android app. The data is sending continuously from the sensor to the phone to the cloud. That experience is really all just happening in the background. It's pretty magical. And so when you go into the app, you're getting prompted with all this feedback. That's probably been one of the best evolutions for us as a business, is really refining that experience. So it doesn't matter if you're a professional athlete, and we work with a lot of them, or if you're just an everyday consumer, you're going to have a very simple user experience, despite the fact that we're collecting so much data on your body.
Right. And is that maybe one of the things that you feel that the fitness and wearable market might have been lacking, or where did you see the biggest gaps that you wanted to fill with the Whoop Band?
Well, I got into this space personally because I was always into sports and exercise, and I felt like there wasn't really anything in the market that could explain how I should train as an athlete. I was playing squash while I was at Harvard, and I was surrounded by athletes who I felt like didn't know what they were doing in their bodies. So for me, that was getting really interested in sleep and recovery and how to prevent injury, how to prevent overtraining. And you know, over time, I think I've now been in this industry for 7 years. I founded Whoop 7 years ago. And I've seen this massive evolution from the market where it went from being about things like steps, which were sort of you know, less sophisticated, to now everyone's really focused on sleep, recovery, what sorts of things can they do to improve their bodies. And I think you're seeing across America and really across the globe this increased awareness around how sleep can affect your body. And so for Whoop, it's really doubling down in those areas, making sure we are the most accurate sleep monitor and continue to be for a long time.
Right, definitely. So with Whoop, you're a subscription service, correct? So as opposed to other on the market that are kind of a buy and it's an outright kind of experience, what does the subscription kind of, you know, afford you there?
Well, we believe that, you know, the evolution of improving your body isn't a one-time purchase, right? It's a daily fight, it's a monthly fight, it's an annual fight. And so for us, we wanted to create a business model where a consumer was only paying us if we were delivering on that promise. And that's where the $30 a month came in. In fact, you can sign up today at whoop.com for as little as $30. And you're going to get a free Whoop Strap 3.0. No matter if you continue to subscribe or not, you keep it. And then it comes with all the software and the analytics that I've been talking about.
Right. And you have a lot of backers on this, from the pros, LeBron James, Rory McIlroy. And in that, you obviously have a very professional tier of people that are using this product. Do you see yourselves as a product that also casual fitness enthusiasts can get along with?
I think absolutely. Like, look, I think anyone listening to this should find it validating that we've had literally the best athletes of their sport wear the product. But I think what you should keep in mind is that our audience today is probably held together by being pretty motivated, you know? And that can skew towards health and fitness, certainly. We have fitness enthusiasts, endurance competitors, runners, cyclists, swimmers, triathletes, marathoners, crossfitters, weightlifters. All of those people are on Whoop, and I think they're having a great experience. What we're also seeing is people who want to better understand their daily lives and improve in their jobs or in their daily lives, right? And I think that's where we've seen doctors and surgeons and cops and firemen and people who have, you know, these intense, stressful lifestyles gravitate to the product. We have an enormous growing base of executives right now on Whoop because they travel a lot and they have stressful jobs. So sleep has really become the new steps, and I think this idea of how you can understand your sleep to unlock your performance in work or in daily life is very common right now. And so for Whoop, absolutely, we started with the best athletes in the world, but now I think we're a product that anyone who's motivated, aspirational in one way or another is going to gravitate to.
Sure. And so just so we have a clarity on how this all works, so you use variable heart rate as well as your resting heart rate combined with your sleep to kind of prescribe how you should train for that following day.
Pretty close. I mean, I think one thing to understand is we've got the sensor data, right? So the sensor data is heart rate variability, it's skin conductivity, it's ambient temperature, and accelerometry. Okay. We're taking readings of all those things 50 to 100 times per second, And then using that base level data, we're feeding algorithms. And those algorithms are positioned in different ways.
Right.
But you know, at a high level, you're going to get feedback on your sleep and your recovery and your strain. So if you think about a day in the life of Whoop, you wake up in the morning with this recovery score from 0 to 100% that's telling you how prepared is your body for the day. Right? And then over the course of the day, you accumulate strain. Whoop measures that. At the end of the day, we look at the strain that's accumulated on your body, and we actually tell you how much sleep we think you need to recover for tomorrow.
Right. Taking you step by step through.
Yeah, and I think that's what separates Whoop in a lot of ways is it tries to be actionable, right? It's one thing to collect a lot of data. It's another thing to know what to do with it, right? And so we're trying to position people to live a step ahead.
Sure, and I love that it's not sports specific. I see you have some bands here, in fact, that help with certain types of training where it might not be very good to be holding on to or have the band in the way, or as a boxer myself, you might not want that on you when you're in physical contact with people. It can be bad, but these look pretty good too. So these are all for different kinds of applications, I suppose, right?
I think broadly speaking, we believe that wearable technology should either be cool or invisible.
Sure.
Right? And like a lot of wearables, unfortunately, find themselves in no man's land, which is in the middle of those two realms. So in terms of making it a product that people we think aesthetically will like, we've designed all sorts of different clasps. You can see those here. I mean, gold and silver. We do different specialty items, like here's a pride clasp. So you can dress it up in a lot of different ways. We have all sorts of different bands that you can easily swap in and out. So I can just take this sensor off. I can swap in and out all sorts of different bands. Some are better for different exercises, certainly. But in a lot of ways, it's like, what color suits you? What design suits you? And today, Whoop is by far the most customizable wearable you can find on the market. Now, in terms of making the thing invisible and making it something that can disappear in the background, this sensor, to your point, can also slip into garments. So here we've got an arm sleeve. This is something you would just pull up your sleeve, wear on your upper arm. And here I can just easily tuck this sensor inside of it. Let me see the camera here. So I just put this right in here, and voila, you've got it.
Right.
Just like that.
And it's already got the curve to it, so it goes exactly where you need.
You just slide it up on your arm, and you're doing the monitoring up here.
Perfect.
So, that's, I would say, long term, that's where we're going to continue to double down, is this idea of how do you make it cool, how do you make it invisible.
Awesome. Well, I can't wait to hear more. Where can people learn more about Whoop currently?
So you can check us out at whoop.com. That's just WHOOP.com. We're also on social media at Whoop, and I'm happy to respond to people's emails or messages. I'm just at Will Ahmed.
Sounds great. Will Ahmed, everybody, founder, sole founder, impressive, of Whoop, and CEO. We'll be back after these messages. Thank you again.
Thanks, Corey.
And welcome back to Digital Trends Live. Thank you for being here with us. Drop in your comments as we go through the show. We're on LinkedIn Live, we're on Periscope, Twitter, Twitch, Facebook. Well, if you're watching us, you know where we're at. We're on a lot of different platforms, and so hit that subscribe button. That's the important thing to do. And it's time to catch you up on some other trending stories right now. Coming up in just a little bit, we're going to have Matt Smith, who's going to join us. We have Ryan Juanita coming in, but right now, I want to talk about the Flyboard. So the Flyboard Air, you probably saw the video last week where this was debuted at the, well, not debuted, but showcased at Bastille Day in France as part of their military parade. Well, the inventor of that, Frankie Zapata, has been at this for a long time. He's been working on this Flyboard Air. He also had a different Flyboard that was in water. This one in particular, though, essentially looks like the Green Goblin. If you're familiar with the Green Goblin, that's it. Right there, but it's real. And this this Flyboard, as what he calls it, Flyboard Air, is pretty amazing. And I'm going to talk about how it works here in just a second. But to describe what he was going to do, this was announced that on this Thursday, apparently, he has said that he is going to attempt to cross the English Channel on his Flyboard Air. That's 21 miles. That's at the narrowest point of the English Channel. He is planning to take this and cross it. Now, he's not going to be able to do it all in one go. He said he's going to have to stop on a boat about 10 miles in. That's about the limit of where it can go, and then refuel and then continue on. But he does plan to cross that entire 21-mile stretch, starting in France, ending up in England. And that's a lot. That's a lot to do on something like this over water. It is the 110th anniversary. This is coming up on Thursday. The 110th anniversary of the first cross-channel airplane flight, piloted by Louis Blériot. So that's kind of why they picked this day as a significant date for it. Now, looking at that right there, so when you saw that Flyboard Air, I just want to give it a little bit of a description on what it is. So this thing can reach up to 118 miles per hour. 118 miles per hour. It's got 5 small turbine engines. It can stay in the air for 10 minutes at a time. He said he has taken it up to a height of 150 meters, but it's probably capable of going a lot higher than that. And that's actually going to be something that they said could be a concern when he's going across the channel, because that's one of the busiest shipping lanes in the world. He's going to have to go over ships at some point. So he's got to make sure they can get up high enough to go over these ships. He's got that little handheld control. You can see the throttle that he's got there. He uses that, and apparently there's also some onboard display through that helmet that tells him where his fuel is at, what his height is, and various other information that he needs in order to fly this thing. Right now, there's a whole bunch of funding that's being dumped into this company, into what he's doing by both the U.S. and the French military are highly interested in this product right there. I mean, it's really amazing. And so what he's going to do, trying to cross the English Channel, again, 21 miles. This is going to be on Thursday. He gives himself a 30% chance of success. He thinks it's 30% chance that he's going to be able to do this because it's such a stretch for even what he's created. I imagine there's going to be quite a support team that's on the water there, maybe several different series of boats that would be joining along if he's going that fast. You would have to have something. I'm sure they figured out the safety side of it. But yeah, 21 miles with one stop on a boat. So he's going to have to land on a boat in the ocean, refuel, and then pick it back up and continue across the channel. We'll see how it all works out. But regardless, the Flyboard Air is pretty cool. I don't think I would get on it myself, but it is pretty amazing what he's doing. We've got an article up at Digital Trends, and you can also track back and follow some of the other amazing things that they've created. It's always interesting seeing these inventors, but this looks legit. I'm going to be following along with that on Thursday. I'm sure we'll be posting about it at Digital Trends, bringing you up to date on that trending story. Some other trending stories right now. Let's continue on with this. The Tokyo Olympics are coming up in 2020. It's already time again for some Summer Olympics. And Tokyo is really going all out on the technological side. They want to showcase what they can do. They want to showcase their technology. They want to showcase a lot of different things, even broadcasting in 8K, but that's just part of it. The other thing they want to showcase are their robots. There's something called the Tokyo 2020 Robot Project, and that's what we're going to take a look at right here. So I want to walk through each one of these robots and just kind of showcase these 5 different ones that they debuted just yesterday. So these are some of the ones, and actually this is from Toyota in particular. So this is Toyota's side of it. Honda's going to have some other ones. There's a lot of different companies working on these, but these are some of the ones they're going to have. The first one I want to show is what's called the human support robot and the delivery support robot. So these ones work together. And what they're going to do is help people out to reach objects. They're going to help people spectators who need help on gathering things. You can take a look at how the robot works. It can bring items in a basket. Wherever the customer is, they can take it there. That's a really important one, and especially for people with mobility issues. This is one of the robots that's going to be there. So when you go in to watch the games, these will be around, and they'll be delivering you snacks or drinks or whatever. So there's that one. Then there is the THRS THR-3, which is the humanoid robot. THR-3. Toyota, so Toyota is developing this, the THR-3 humanoid robot. That's the second one I wanted to talk about. And that's what it's going to do is also something pretty interesting for this. So not everybody's going to be able to go to the 2020 Olympics, obviously, but they want to increase that interactivity with everyone at the event. And this is what they're going to be showing, is how you could, in theory, maybe buy a ticket and be able to join the Olympics via this THR-3 humanoid robot. Again, the second one I wanted to talk about. And so it's going to be a bipedal robot. It'll provide images and sounds from remote locations, and it'll allow people to converse with and high-five athletes. This is what they're saying. This is directly from what they were talking about. So in theory, you could join in, you would control that robot, walk around, and you can high-five whoever you want as you're going through. Interesting way for some interactivity to happen when it comes to the Olympics. Then you also have the TTR-1 communication robot. And this is another one where you could attend the games virtually and actually have your image showcased on the robot. So it's a wheel-based robot. It kind of looks like a vacuum cleaner. And there it is. So imagine that could be you trolling around a stadium in Tokyo saying hi to people. It's kind of weird. It's kind of, I mean, this is somebody, so they're showcasing somebody in a wheelchair, so for mobility issues, that's a great idea, but it's not just for that, is what they're saying. It's really, it could be for anyone, anywhere on the planet, could virtually join the Olympics and be there in the stadium, walking around. You can converse with people, you can talk back and forth. It's a pretty cool concept. I wonder how many of these are going to be instituting. So if you are there at the stadium, how many seats are going to be reserved for the virtual people? It seems, this is on the way to something that's very futuristic, but that they want to showcase. And this is the TTR-1 communication robot. So it's for telepresence, to have your telepresence there on the location. And that's a pretty interesting one. The other two that I wanted to showcase are the tiny autonomous car. Again, this is all part of the 2020 Tokyo Olympics. This is the big announcement that Toyota made in association with it yesterday, talking about how some of these different robots that they want to institute in them. And so this one is a field support robot. So in the last Olympics, we've seen some things where there was like when the javelin toss was going on. I mean, it's a dangerous spot for people to be in. I mean, it's still it's a spear flying through the air, and they were utilizing robots to help bring those javelins back to the athletes, to the competitors. Well, this is something else that they're working with that. So that's part of it. It could also guide people through, so it would know the layout of wherever it's at. So if somebody's support staff's trying to get through a big crowd, it could guide them through to an easier way to get around it. Kind of cool. Final one is the mascot. You know there's got to be some weird mascots associated with any Olympics, and this is one of the ones for them. So this is Miratoa, and then they have a Someti is another one. That is one of the mascot robots that's going to be the mascots of Tokyo 2020 Olympics. It's got all kinds of weird eye things that it showcases as you go through it, taking a look at some of the different things that it can do. Again, that's talking about the mascot robot. So walking through the 2020 Olympics, the Tokyo 2020 Olympics, and some of the things that Toyota is doing to showcase the technological side. It'll be pretty fascinating to see what all gets debuted at this, but Japan is going all out. There's all kinds of things they have planned for it. It's going to be pretty exciting from a tech standpoint. All right. Final thing that we're going to discuss here is one more trending story that we have that we want to bring up to you. It does have to do with some more robots, and then we're going to get to a break here. We're going to have Matt Smith come in and join us. We're going to be talking about some other aspects of the news, but this is essentially modular robots, and that's something that we see a lot more in robotics. Soft robotics, modular robots. So it's not just the rigid machines that we've normally come to think of as robots, but things that can actually adapt to their surroundings. And these modular robots they're being developed by the Mod Lab at University of Pennsylvania. So it's students, it's a research university. There it is, you can kind of see how it's working. So they can program this to tell all of these robots, which are communicating together using a series of different ways that they communicate with each other. They have magnets that actually interact, and to help lock them into place. And so they can tell them what they want to do. They use short-range radios, and then they're able to reconfigure themselves. So they say, hey, we want you to look like this. They will then reposition themselves. They're able to do that. That's probably the creepiest one that they've done, where they can actually bend up looking like that. And this is modular robotics. Modular robotics is something we're going to see a lot more of. And it reminds me of Voltron. It looks like something Voltron will be doing. If you're familiar with Voltron, you know what I'm talking about. But that's what we're looking at. So that's called the S'mores EP robots. They have wheels on each side. They can move in any direction. They communicate with each other. And they've got different configurations that they can use. That's just showcasing some of the future of robotics. We've got an article about all of this at Digital Trends you can take a look at, so stay up to date with that. We need to get to a break, though, right now. We've got Mr. Matt Smith, who's going to be joining us. We're going to talk about this idea of Apple buying Intel's modem section of their company for $1 billion, buying Intel's modems, buying their staff, potentially. What does that mean for Apple? What does that mean going forward? We're going to discuss all of that coming up here right after this break on Digital Trends Live. This is Digital Trends Live, and I want to once again reiterate, we're live. So hello to Otto on YouTube, who was asking if this was live or replay. We're live, and we love interacting with you, so drop in your comments and questions. You know what I'm talking about. We want to have these discussions with you. We want to bring you up to date on what's going on in the world of tech. We're going to talk about a trending topic right now and the possible ramifications for you. I'm Greg Nibbler, joined now by Matt Smith. Hello, Matt.
Hello, Internet.
Excellent. I was hoping that we would have your standard greeting. So, Matt, this trending story that's going on right now, it's these rumors that are out about Apple potentially paying up to $1 billion for Intel's modem making department of their company.
Right.
What all are we looking at right here?
Well, basically, Apple would like to, well, actually, there's a little bit of dispute about why they would want to do this, but the sort of thing you would assume on its face is that they want to be able to make their own modems for 5G. Obviously, that would be something that would fit in the Apple strategy really nicely because they like to do things in-house as much as possible, especially when it comes to silicon. They like to put that in-house. Of course, Apple's phones run their own processors that they design, and they have for many years, and that's been really successful for them. So maybe Apple wants to do it for that reason. That is one potential reason they might want to buy Intel's 5G unit. Another is they could just want patents, they sort of cover their butts on things, and maybe they're not intending to totally do their own 5G modems. Maybe they're planning some sort of patchwork thing where some modems come from Qualcomm and they make some of their own. Because obviously there's a very high demand, and there's some questions about whether or not, even if they did buy Intel's unit, they probably couldn't just immediately
plug them right in
modems to fill every phone. So interesting to see how that shakes out.
Yeah, because right now, they have that deal with Qualcomm. That's for several years. They settled that. There was the huge lawsuits going on back and forth.
Yeah, which is reportedly a possible big driver of this sale.
So that. Because Intel, because of the Qualcomm and Apple deal, Intel just decided that, we're just getting out of it. We're not even going to go down that road.
Yeah, which it's not a good look for Intel in terms of how this is played out in the press because Intel, until a few months ago when the Qualcomm thing happened, they were really going in on 5G.
Yeah.
At CES, I remember I went in, sat down at their press conference, and they were like, "We're going to tell you how 5G, is going to get rolled out by Intel, and this is how we're going to do it. Here's our roadmap. Here's like what we're doing going forward." And they were very pumped about it.
Yeah.
And then like a few months later, it was actually, you know what? I think we're good.
Yeah.
I think we're not gonna,
which is a
gonna
big
do
move
that.
for a company of that size to just be like, yeah, we're out.
Yeah.
Because there's so
For
much
sure.
money to be made on that, but they must have just seen such a gap that it didn't make sense to them.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, Intel's really
Hard to know.
struggled to diversify its business. I think, they've tried really hard to do it over the last, I don't know, maybe even decade at this point. But their attempts to get to make big businesses outside of computer processors and server processors have been, they haven't really gone that well for Intel. And
Yeah.
I think this is another example of the difficulty they've run into. Intel's a huge company and they have a lot of expertise, but even with all of that, they were not able to make this work. And when it ended up that Apple could potentially find modems from another source, Intel kind of had to throw in the towel.
So what does this mean going forward for consumers? Say it does go through. And again, this is just a rumor right now, but I think there's definitely something behind it. There's enough behind it that there's probably some at least negotiations going on at the very minimum, I would think at this point. And so if, say, Apple buys this whole department for $1 billion, what do they get with it exactly? And then how does that transfer or translate to consumers when it comes to iPhones?
Well, basically, if Apple does manage to buy Intel's 5G unit, they're going to be able to create 5G hardware in-house.
Which they are unable to do on their own right now.
Yeah. They've been relying on modems from, other sources for pretty much the entire history of the iPhone. I'm not aware of any iPhone that's ever had an Apple-made modem. I might be wrong there because there are quite a lot of them, but certainly that's been like a gap in Apple's approach to its silicon. So I think the effects for consumers would probably be positive because Apple has so far shown that it's been pretty good about its silicon. I mean, like its processors for its smartphones are extremely quick. It's done a really good job managing that. So if it could also manage the modem alongside the processor, I think that probably would be better performance for consumers, maybe better battery life, maybe new features. I don't know what this would be, but just like it would allow some creative features that because Apple has more control that we haven't thought of so far. So it could shake out to be pretty interesting.
Well, and again, this is what we're talking about. That rumor that Apple may be buying this for $1 billion. And so when they do that, when something like this goes through, and you buy a department or a unit of a company, you mentioned the patents, and that's one thing that Intel has a lot of patents. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean Intel has a lot of patents. Apple has a lot of patents, but
what do the patents get you? Just coverage, or do you get unique technology, or?
Yeah, the patents get you the ability to build things, in this case 5G technology, without worrying quite as much about the legal ramifications of it. Obviously, I mean, the patent disputes have been a big deal. I mean, the Apple battle with Qualcomm and whatnot.
Yeah.
And having patents that you own really covers your butt in terms of like what you're trying to make and whether or not other companies can come at you with some sort of lawsuit saying, oh, well, actually, we own the patent on this, and so you need to pay us, even though you're developing that. It also can be something that Apple can deploy. If someone comes at them with a lawsuit, Apple can countersue.
Yeah.
Based on these patents. Maybe they say, oh, well, you're coming at us for that thing. Well, actually, we looked at our 5G patents and we realized that we actually now own a 5G patent that is related to something you're doing, and we're going to countersue you.
Yeah. So
it's
it gives
really
them that coverage and.
Yeah, and that whole angle of it is really like it's not really related to consumer tech. It's not something that directly impacts your device. but it is something that happens in the background with these big companies. I mean, they're doing it all the time. That's why you see you'll see these things happen where like Apple or Samsung or Qualcomm or whatever, they'll have a lawsuit, a big lawsuit, and then they'll turn around and partner.
Yeah.
You know,
okay, we're buddies now.
Or sell something to each other. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it seems like it's just part of playing the game at this point.
Wow. Well, it's fascinating stuff, and it'll be interesting to see where this goes and if this does actually go through. We've certainly got everything up to date at digitaltrends.com. You can follow along with it. But to kind of sum that up, that's the rumor. Apple may be paying $1 billion to buy Intel's modem unit, and what those ramifications are, we'll see. But it sounds like Matt thinks, generally speaking, it could be good for consumers in the long run.
If you buy iPhones.
If you buy iPhones. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, if you're an iPhone user. Well, Matt, thank you for hopping on here to explain that a little bit better for us.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for
Much
having me on.
appreciated. And thank you, Internet, for watching the show right now. we do appreciate that. We've got another segment for you coming up. We've got Mr. Ryan Juanita, who's going to be in here, and he is going to have with him the Aftershokz AeroPex bone conduction headphones. I'm just going to leave that out there. We're going to let him explain that. He's going to have them here with us. We'll be back in a minute with more Digital Trends Live. Welcome back to Digital Trends Live. Thank you for joining us. We're broadcasting live. We can take your comments and questions. Hello to George on LinkedIn Live, and everybody who's joining us on whatever platform you're on, we thank you for that. I'm Greg Nibbler, joined now by Mr. Ryan Juanita. Hello, Ryan.
Hello there.
Wonderful Broncos jersey.
Yeah.
So, but beside that, we want to talk about an actual product that you have here. And I just saying the name is just weird enough. The Aftershokz AeroPex bone conduction headphones.
Yes. I mean, Aftershokz, God love them. It's an interesting name for a company. It almost sounds like a company that maybe isn't that serious in sound. But actually, they've been around for a long time. I first tried their product in 2013. And it's just a really interesting way to get your sound. I have a very vivid memory of riding my bike down 30th here in Portland on the southeast side and just having the music blasting, but still not feeling at all unsafe because I could hear all the traffic around me. And that's what these headphones are all about. But back then, it was a much bigger headphone. So they have, come with the times here. And this is their new AeroPex, and it is the smallest bone conduction headphone we've seen so far. But what the heck is bone conduction?
Exactly
so
what I wanted to ask.
What bone conduction is, it's these little pads that vibrate, and they actually literally vibrate along a bone in front of your ear to send sound into your inner ear. It actually bypasses the ear canal so that you can keep the ears open. It is weird. And the first ones actually tingled a lot, so it took a while to get used to them. But it's really interesting what they've done here. And they've had to do this because we know all of the true wireless headphones coming out. We know all of the smaller, in-ears. and even Bose Frames sunglasses, which are sunglasses that get you audio through little tiny speakers. So there's a lot of competition for the workout small headphone, genre basically. But yeah, so you set these things onto your head. They're really small, and they sit right in front of your ears. They almost kind of just disappear.
Yeah, so there's no speaker on there.
The speaker is this vibrating pad, and it vibrates through the bone in your head. Now, interestingly enough, if you get it closer to your ears, you will hear it. So I don't know how much is actually coming through the ear canal, how much is actually coming through the bone. I'm not trying to discount their science, but there is, you can get them closer and hear them. But yeah, you put them against the bone, and sound just kind of pops into your head. And this allows you to hear everything around you. You can just cruise on your bike, especially great for bikes because a lot of fully wireless earbuds do have microphones that offer like ambient sound to come in. However, when the wind hits it, even if it's got all kinds of digital buffers and compressors and all kinds of stuff, it still just sounds like, it just doesn't work.
Right.
And that's why the Bose sunglasses are really, the Bose frames, which are audio sunglasses, are a really good way to do that. Or these guys. They're also great for running. Jeremy Kaplan, our editor-in-chief, he considers them his pair of AfterShokz his favorite running headphones.
Wow.
But you can see how tiny these things are. They just disappear on your head, especially if you got a little bit of hair going.
Yeah.
And
the band
I've actually walked around with these things, and people didn't know I had them. And that's kind of the fun thing is like going incognito, and you're rocking tunes, and you're talking to people.
You don't even know, man.
You don't know, man. I'm rocking the tunes. One interesting thing about bone conduction, it's not going to be as full of a sound as your regular wireless headphones. I kind of likened it to if a really high fidelity pair of headphones is giving you the full painting. This is more like a charcoal sketch.
Okay.
But this one actually fills it in more than that. These are the best sounding ones we've heard so far, especially in the upper register. They do a great job. Where they don't do as well as down in the bass. These little pads just don't get a lot of thump, as you might imagine. And part of that, really where you're getting the bass for in-ear headphones, is it's creating a seal in your ear, and the frequencies are actually being created inside that small acoustic space in your eardrum. So that's why it's not able to do the bass. Just like the Bose frames were not able to do very much bass as well, because they're actually speakers beaming into your ears.
What's the battery life on these?
Battery life is 8 hours.
Okay.
That's the best we've seen from the company yet too. So you can pretty much take it on any workout. They're fully dust-proof, fully waterproof. You can actually submerge them for up to 30 minutes.
So you can swim with
3
these.
feet of water. You probably don't want to swim.
Okay.
But you can wash them off.
Yeah.
And if they fell in, like to a sink or something like that, you're not going to worry about them at all.
Wow.
They actually do have pairs that you can swim with as well.
What's the price on something like this?
The price is
let's just go to that.
$160. It is a little bit pricey, but that's right around where we see a lot of true wireless earphones.
Yeah.
So really, if you're buying something, majority for your workout, you can wear them at work. Unlike the sunglass headphones, where you're not going to wear those in the office,
right?
Or the gym. Pretty much, so you can wear them all those places just fine. It's not something you probably want to be, using for all of your, jamming out all day, just because the fidelity isn't quite there with regular headphones.
Right.
But for the workout enthusiasts, they're really fun.
Is it distracting having that, being able to have like full open ears? And
it can be, especially if you've got the tunes really pumping. Your brain doesn't quite know where to look, for lack of a better metaphor there or analogy. So that does happen. So sometimes you just want to crank it down a little bit when you're trying to talk to somebody. But you really can just like pump in some tunes, and you've got like a backtrack to like whatever you're doing. So taking the dog for a walk. We got a new dog, so I was using him a lot on that. And we brought him over for a play date, and I was like talking to them, watching the dogs, and listening to music all
and rocking out
and rocking the jam. So yeah, it's a cool little product, and it's also like just you can see how tiny these are. I mean, it's kind of. You can just slip them in to the case.
Very light,
you
very
can put them in
tiny.
your
I
pocket.
probably won't do it right now, but yeah, these are. I'm definitely going to try these afterwards. So these are the AfterShokz Aeropex bone conduction headphones, and we've got a review up, I'm assuming.
We do.
We do a review at Digital Trends. You can take a look at that. That's some pretty cool technology.
Yeah, it's fun.
I'm excited to try those out.
Another wireless wonder out there.
Yeah, wireless
to mess around with.
Juanita's wireless wonders right here.
I'm opening an emporium.
Ryan, thank you for joining us.
You're welcome.
That's really cool, and that's what we like to do here at Digital Trends Live is talk about cool stuff. And that's what we do here every single day. On a go back here, just talking about the beginning of the show, we had the one and only Mr. Juan Garcia in here giving his unfiltered opinions about everything, and that is why we love Juan being here on the show. So we talked about some news at the very beginning of the show. And then continuing on through today's show, we covered, once again, so much. We had Rahim Fazal, the co-founder and CEO of SV Academy, talking about online education and the way that's changing and giving more people opportunities. Really interesting platform that he's created, and a really great interview. We had Rick Marshall on with a Comic-Con recap, especially Marvel. Marvel Phase 4 is crazy. There's a lot going on right there, and we'll be talking more about that later on this week as well.
Yeah, we got stuff coming out about that.
So more articles coming up. So we have that. We had Will Ahmed, the CEO and founder of Whoop, who was in our New York studio with the Digital Trends Live debut of our associate mobile editor, Corey Gaskin. Great job, Corey. And that was a great interview. Really interesting stuff that they're doing. We have Matt Smith in here, who was talking about Apple maybe paying $1 billion to get Intel's modem unit and what that would actually mean, how that would translate to consumers. A lot to dissect and discuss on that. And that's what we do here every day. We try to bring you up to date on the information. We have the discussions with you. We try to tell you how it's going to affect you. All of that while broadcasting live, but you can watch all of these segments afterwards, so make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you follow along at digitaltrends.com all day. We'll keep you up to date on the news. And we have lots more coming up this week, but that's it for today. So I'll talk to you tomorrow with more Digital Trends Live.